Hey everyone, I'm the Solo Scaper. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to Heroscape.
Warriors from all of time have been collected and brought to you. This is Heroscape. More than just a strategy game, embark on a build and battle fantasy adventure like no other. You build the environment, making every encounter unique. Then select your team, the strength of a Viking champion or the cunning of a samurai warrior. Assemble your forces of power, arrange your field of play, and let the battle of all time begin. Heroscape.
When I first saw that commercial back in 2004, I was 10 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. A board game that you could customize and build yourself like Lego. A motley assortment of thematic units you drafted into your army, with deep synergies like building a deck of Magic the Gathering. And then you ordered them across the battlefield, like Fire Emblem or Command and Conquer. Heroscape was the combination of so many different things I loved about gaming and play, put together. I remember opening up my Rise of the Valkyrie Master set on Christmas morning and immediately forgetting about the rest of my gifts under the tree. I was just too excited to look at these beautifully pre-painted figures and build a map as big as I could manage. I still remember that Christmas morning map as being the biggest and most beautiful map I've ever built in Heroscape, with towering mountains, vast lakes, rushing rivers, and crumbling ruins. Never mind that I only had the contents of a single master set. That first map was by far the grandest. I was very lucky as a kid to have parents that were able and willing to support this hobby. They bought me one of everything, getting me every expansion, and even driving me an hour each way to the nearest Toys R Us to pick up the Flag Bearers and the Volcaran Wasteland. I was obsessed with the game. Every time I got new figures, I would bring the cards with me to my room at bedtime and read and reread them until every detail was burned into my brain. I would think about how to use them together. I would battle with my family. I remembered my dad favored the 4th Massachusetts line. My mom loved the historical units, especially the samurai, and my brother always chose the evil armies of Utgar. As for me, I found myself gravitating toward the heroes. Sergeant Drake Alexander, Konkan the Kairi warrior, Kei Manawa, Cyprian Essenwine, and my very favorite, Johnny Shotgun. Time and time again, they led my forces to victory. But time goes by. Heroscape is a game that requires a lot of space and a lot of time, and as I grew older, both of those were luxuries I could rarely afford. Through my college years, all of the figures and terrain I had collected and loved for so long was boxed away in my parents' attic, and there it all waited. After I graduated, I was pretty desperate for money to be able to move out of my parents' house. I remembered that old game in the attic, and went online and discovered just how valuable it all was. I considered for just a moment to sell it all. But in that moment, I felt an incredible rush of emotion. I felt a tear come to my eye. All at once, I knew that to sell Heroscape would be to sell a part of me. So instead, I sold some of those old Magic cards and used that money to buy more Heroscape, of course. I ordered the final wave of Classic Scape that I had missed, Wave 9 Black Moon Siege, new in box. I felt such an incredible rush of nostalgia coming over me as I fought to get into that famously impossible to open packaging. For the first time in years, I played. I rejoined the Heroscapers forums under a new name. I felt that passion return for a while. Ultimately, though, the time and space restraints of Heroscape were still there, so after a couple months' enjoyment, I found myself boxing them up again and returning them to the attic. At least until the impossible happened. Heroscape was returning. I walked into my local game store and saw that logo again. I have loved the Age of Annihilation so far. I have loved what Renegade has done with this property. No, it doesn't feel exactly like Classic Scape, but frankly I don't think it should. They could never live up to my nostalgia. I'm excited for Age of Annihilation because it is different. I'm excited for the bugs. I'm excited for the Vorids. I shared my thoughts on Boiling Tension a couple weeks ago, and you saw there just how thrilled I am for the new common squads that are coming. Heroscape is back, and I am so happy to be able to share my passion with all of you. And that brings me to this channel, the Solo Scaper. My goal is to share how I choose to play Heroscape, and to encourage you to play Heroscape in the ways you want. If you don't have anybody to play with, play anyway. If your favorite figure isn't competitive, play them anyway. Be creative. Come up with your own rules, your own customs, build your own maps. This game is deep and rich and full of potential. I can't wait to hear from you all about how you make Heroscape your own. Before I close out today, I want to give a couple of shoutouts. First, to Doggin Days. Watching your videos helps to get me back into this hobby, and you inspired me to dig into the wonderful world of VC Delta, and I can't wait to talk more about VC Delta and how much I love it. To Slugscape. His video on Solo Heroscape played a large part in inspiring the theme of this channel, and when I told him that, he encouraged it. To Honey's Creations, who made my awesome logo and has advised me a lot through this whole process. To the Heroscapers and the Heroscape YouTubers, you guys are awesome. And lastly, to my friends and family, thanks so much for your support. I'm the Solo Scaper. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. Please consider liking and subscribing. And always remember, Heroscape is yours.